Hi guys, just letting you know we'll be starting at 8 p.m. So in about 5 to 6 minutes time, just waiting for a few more to get on the call. So yeah, just make yourself a cup of tea and I will be back to you in about 5 or so minutes. Hi guys, thanks everyone for logging on. Not long now, I will be kicking off in about 2 to 3 minutes, so at 8 p.m. your time. So you probably have time just to grab that cup of tea and I will kick off in a couple of minutes. All right, speak to you soon. Good evening, everyone. What we'll do is we will, while we allow people who might be running a little bit late, I'd just like to get a feel for who we have on the webinar this evening. So could you just let me know if you're a EFT, matrix reimprinter, faster EFT, what modality are you using at the moment? If you use the chat box and just message it through to me, it'd be good to get an understanding of who we have on the webinar. And also, if you could let me know where you're from, what part of the country are you from? If you could message that through, that would be great also. For those of you who are not aware, my name is Jackie Dernan and I'm actually based in Australia. I'm from Ireland. So you may see the time on my webinar, it's 5:03 a.m. in the morning. So it's a little bit early. So bear with me if I repeat myself, but I'm feeling quite awake this morning, so that's good. Okay, so we've got some EFT masters, some EFT matrix reimprinting. We've got some faster EFT practitioners. We've got people from Germany, from East Sussex. We've got people from Dublin. We've got people from London. So we've got quite a mix of people from all over. So we've got different type of tapping modalities, which is fantastic. We've got Cape Town also. Fantastic. Twickenham, London. So good morning to you all, and good evening, should I say to you, and good morning from me. We've got Budapest, faster EFT practitioners. Okay, so we've got quite a few people from lots of different tapping modalities. As I would have mentioned, and for those of you that don't know, I am an advanced level 4 faster EFT practitioner. I'm also a level 3 EFT practitioner, and have done matrix reimprinting and matrix birth reimprinting. So a couple of different types of tapping modalities I have. I'll be able to talk to you in relation to those and how I'm using that in relation to take my business to the next level. So just to let you know, in relation to this webinar, because we're recording the webinar, there's going to be a delay between what I'm actually saying and when you hear it. So bear with me. I will, and if you do have any questions, please feel free to either send them through in the chat. I'll try and address them as we go. Otherwise, I will answer all questions at the end. I also did receive some questions for people who registered for the webinar, so I will be answering those questions at the end because I want to make sure that I answer all your questions. So I'm just want to check how we're going with. Okay, so we're 5 past now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kick off the webinar, and so that we can get started, because I am aware it's 8 o'clock in the evening your time, and I want to make sure that we get through the presentation and that I get to answer all your questions. So let's get started. So first of all, welcome. As I said, my name's Jackie, and welcome to my webinar, How to Tap into Corporates. And thank you so much for taking the time to come along to find out more about how to grow your business and to take it to a totally different level. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, I thought it'd be important to get an understanding of who I am. So I wanted to give you a little history so you understand my background. So 15 years ago, I emigrated to Australia from Ireland after I completed a degree in business and legal studies. Now, this 1 year in Australia resulted in me meeting my now husband and applying for residency, and I've stayed here ever since. So along the way, I decided to write a book called Australian Baby Hands. Some of you may have heard about it, but it's targeting the Australian market, and it's to teach parents how to communicate with their babies while they're pre-verbal. Now, I self-published this book over 10 years ago, sold about 11,000 copies, so I've only got 9,000 more before I'm on the bestsellers list. But Baby Hands resulted in me establishing a franchise of baby sign language classes around the country, which was an invaluable learning experience for me and taught me a lot about running my own business. For a full-time job, I was working as a digital marketing person for a startup agency, and that was recently bought by Adobe. And then I began heading up the search marketing department of one of the largest agencies in Australia, Group M. So while doing this, I began my study of tapping, initially learning EFT, then moving to faster EFT, and then learning matrix re-imprinting and matrix birth re-imprinting. The reason for doing that was I was feeling very stressed at work, very overwhelmed, and I did find that there was lots of stuff from my past that was coming up and I didn't know how to deal with it. And ultimately, I just wanted to feel better about myself. So after I made a move from Sydney, Australia to Noosa in Queensland, which is about 2 hours north of Brisbane, for those of you who know Australia, I decided to make more of a transition into my hobby or my part-time work as a tapper. Up until this point, I was doing sessions for people very ad hocly. I didn't have a business name. I didn't have a web page. It was more kind of word of mouth, friends or friends of friends. So once I made my move to Noosa, I decided to try and do this more kind of full time. And what I learned quickly was the financial pressure to get people in the door and to bring you in an income. I developed my business into 3 parts. So I had my personal sessions. Then I decided to do consulting to health health businesses and corporate health and wellness coaching. So now you know a little bit more who I am. Let's talk a bit more about what this seminar is about, which is working with corporates and how to tap into that multi-million-dollar market. So in relation to work with corporates, as I suppose I came from a corporate background, I understand what it's like to be an employee under pressure. And I'm sure all of you at some stage has worked in some sort of corporate or even maybe retail or environment. So you get an understanding of the stress and anxiety that we have, and also the long days that can be expected that you work. I personally started using tapping towards the end of my time as a corporate employee, once I had learned the techniques, to really help me work through any issues I had with fellow colleagues, any stress or pressure I had in relation to deadlines. But what I thought was, imagine if employees and companies had access to this, how different life would be for them and the company's bottom line. So I began using different approaches to get meetings with key decision makers and worked out what these people liked to hear and what sold them on this modality called tapping. I began doing corporate workshops, getting feedback and tweaking the workshop. And what happened was the team leaders began to notice changes in their employees' behavior. So their absenteeism from work and their overall productivity began to change, and the results were great. I went from charging $150 per hour to charging $4,000 per day for corporates, which really just totally revolutionized my business. It meant me doing less private one-on-one sessions, or being more selective on who I'm going to do my one-on-ones with. Or I may even volunteer my times for charities, because I can get my income from the corporate clients and just do more. So what I also began working less for more money, which gave me more time to do what I want to do and have work-life balance. So here, I just wanted to give you an idea of some of the testimonials that I've received in relation to the work that I've been doing in companies. This is what a lady called Ava, she's a team leader, had to say about a workshop and sessions that I did. So she actually noticed 2 female employees have a change in how they conduct themselves at work. So one of the ladies was very defensive when I had discussions with her about her role. I have noticed that since her sessions with you, she is less emotional and more self-managed. She's been asking me to do certain tasks which in the past she would avoid. She is more confident to take on work, and when we have discussions, she listens to what I have to say and contributes without being defensive. I have noticed a huge improvement in her professional behavior. Another employee who has a lot going on in her personal life in the past would let it get in the way of her role. She would be sad and emotional at work and would need excessive breaks and days off. Since her sessions with you, we have noticed that she is more focused on her work while in the office. She isn't letting her emotions and personal life affect her job. Even when she talks to us about her personal life, we can feel she is more clear in her decisions. So as you can see, it was fantastic to see that I was doing a workshop, and then anyone who attended the workshop could opt to have a one-on-one session with me, and that one-on-one would be a 2-hour one-on-one session. And you can see that it had quite an improvement on their productivity, being less reactive in the workplace, and also being less absent, which was another thing that came out from team leaders. Here is another testimonial. So this is from one of the members of the team. So Wendy, she was a credit officer. So she met me in December 2014 when I was lucky enough to be booked into one of your training sessions, your Inner Power workshop. I found the course very informative and was open, eager to try new things. At the completion of the course, I felt exhilarated and looking forward to having a one-on-one time with you. That experience was even better. At the completion of the session, I felt as if a weight had been lifted from my shoulders, and my outlook view on how I perceive things had been changed from negative to positive. I did have several fears that I've been carrying around since childhood that Jackie helped me work through. I now have renewed confidence and would recommend Jackie to enable her to help others. So this particular case, Wendy, was rather interesting because she worked in a building that had 4 floors, and one of her fears from childhood was getting into a lift. So she had worked for this company for almost 3 years, and for those 3 years she had taken the stairs. She just refused to go into the lift because it was too overwhelming. After doing the session, she now can go in the lift, and it's not, she doesn't feel that she's just stuck, that she has to only use the stairs. She can use the lift whenever she chooses. So what I wanted to touch base on was mindset, because it's such an important part to our work as practitioners, and especially taking our business to another level. I feel making sure that you have the correct mindset really has a huge impact on how much you can charge, how many clients you're going to get in the door. It's important that you work on any limiting beliefs you may have that's preventing you from charging $3,000 or $4,000 per day. You may well be thinking, well, maybe I was born with this mindset, but the opposite's true. I grew up in Ireland, and my dad was unemployed all of my life, and my mum was a stay-at-home mum. So if I can change my mindset, so can you. You just need to know how. The other thing to think about as well is I've gone from charging, I'm charging $4,000 per day for my corporate work. And I recently got told of another person who does corporate work and does work in relation to mindset sales, specifically focusing on the sales team, and is charging $10,000 per day. And so that, for me, what that's doing is changing my mindset and opening me up to, well, why can't I increase my dollars? So what's happening for me now at the moment is I'm looking at increasing my rate from $4,000 per day. And I'm looking at maybe, I don't think I'm going to make the leap to $10,000, but I could probably tap on that. But I think for me, what feels comfortable is moving to $6,000 or $8,000 per day, depending on what I'm offering the client. So how much work will it take? I get asked this a lot. How much will it take to find the clients? How much will it take to contact them, meet up with them, create the presentations, draft proposals, create quotes, create a workshop, create all the materials that you need for this? Well, I suppose when I did it, I did invest a lot of time to create the correct emails that generated interest in the client to meet me. And that was through trial and error. I would send emails, some would get responses, and then I would send emails and some wouldn't get responses. And through trial and error, I worked out what would generate interest in a client for them to come meet me for a coffee or for a chat. I spent a lot of time also creating the correct proposals that would be approved and signed off. I sent these proposals through to companies, and I would ask for feedback back when they didn't sign up with me, so I could get an understanding of why what it was that they decided that they weren't going to work with me. And if it was anything to do with the proposal, I would tweak it. I also spent time in creating an engaging workshop that added real value to the employees. And a way for me to also introduce tapping into the corporate workplace. Because I think a lot of people think tapping can be a little bit woo-hoo or whatever you want to call it for the corporate world. But it really just depends on how you package it. All of this time, I suppose, that I invested resulted in really great quality material that has proven results and have happy clients. The good news for you is that you don't actually have to invest that much time. I've created this system to follow, and all you need to do is invest some time doing that system and using the materials that I have to get the results. It's that easy. Another question that I get asked is, how many clients am I going to need? Well, I suppose that's individual choice. If you can charge $4,000 per day, so whatever that will equate to in euros or pounds or whatever currency you're in, and you can secure one of these clients on a retainer, and by a retainer, I mean every month you are going in and delivering, you are making yourself available for 1 day or 2 days a month. This, for some people, is a monthly wage. So for some people, one client is enough, but I recommend having at least two so that all your eggs aren't in one basket, or to have one client on a monthly retainer and then some ad hoc client work. So you'd have maybe a one-off workshop with some corporates. This is what I have done. I have always have had one client on a consistent retainer, and then I do other ad hoc work. Some other clients come on retainer for 6 months of the year, but I do have one that's on a constant retainer for the 12 months. That way I know that I have consistent income, which is just I suppose the pressure is off, and it just makes my time more flexible. And then I can be more selective, as I said before, on who I work with and when I work. So how can I help you? So as I mentioned, I did create this system on how to find clients, as well as creating lots of great resources such as email templates, proposal decks, quote templates, my IP for my one-day workshop. So it's literally everything you need to become corporate health and wellness consultant. That's one of the titles that I use. You can call yourself a stress management consultant, whatever you'd like. Now, to create this blueprint for the business, I've invested, as I said, a lot of time and energy. And the IP that I present and offer you on my How to Tap into Corporates course is worth thousands of dollars. The one-day corporate workshop that I present to corporates and offer you the template for, I currently charge $4,000 per day for it. So basically what I'm offering is a kind of a corporate toolkit. You follow the process and you'll be able to secure meetings with companies by following the process. And then you basically have everything at your fingertips. You have follow-up email templates, you have quote templates, you have presentations for your meetings, you have one-day corporate workshop should they decide that's what you want, that's what they'd like you for. So as I mentioned, I am doing a how to tap into corporates 3 workshop where I cover basically this whole system. And on the course, we'll cover sourcing corporate leads, how to source them, and lead generation tools that I use, the exact formula that I've been used to securing meetings with clients. Some people have said to me, but it's okay for you, you have a corporate background. It's probably easy for you to source corporate leads. What I have done is I haven't actually approached any of my corporate contacts or anyone I have worked with to date. And that might sound like a strange thing, but the reason I did that is I wanted to make sure that I wasn't relying on people that I knew. I wanted to make sure that this is something that I could sell to people I don't have any relationship with. And that's exactly what I did. I created a system where I can cold call or cold contact people that I do not know to secure a meeting with them. I'll talk through on the course why you target corporates and what corporate people are actually looking for. Some of the contacts that I have, people I've reached out to, have not just been in Australia. I've also had been speaking to a corporate company in India and also in in the US. Sorry. So the good thing I like about this system is that you can potentially take your business international, because a lot of companies have offices internationally. By coming along on the 3-day workshop, you will join a Facebook group of any past attendees of how to tap into corporates. And what I'm building basically is an international team. So for example, I'm speaking to a company at the moment. One of the companies I'm speaking to has an office in 52 offices around the world. I'm not sure if that will come off. Hopefully it will. If it does, it's going to be physically impossible for me to deliver workshops and trainings and sessions in those 52 offices. So what I would be doing is relying on my team of practitioners who've been through the How to Tap into Corporates workshop and letting them know that I do have a team behind me, and you can do the same. Some of the people who've been on the workshops in Brisbane and Melbourne are now talking to companies and talking about the team that they have internationally and nationally in Australia. So you're not just coming along and getting this course, you're also becoming part of a wider team that is a very saleable and sellable thing to companies, that it's not just you. We'll also talk through the operations and systems for a corporate health and wellness consultant, and I will provide you with all of them. The marketing and branding for your corporate health and wellness business. Talk a lot about dealing with rejection, because not everybody said yes to me, and I had to deal with that. I had to get used to hearing no sometimes, and just putting it to a side or dealing with it and being able to move on. We talk about money and what you're worth, because that can be a big stumbling block. We need to get you into a mindset where some of you may be charging at the moment. I had spoken to someone who was charging $20 or $25, like they were charging quite a small amount of money per hour, and they wanted to move to that $4,000. By the end of the 3 days, everyone who's been on the course feels more than comfortable charging $4,000. I even had some people thinking about charging more, which is fantastic. And you'll also receive all my personal material I use to create proposals and the presentations I use to run my workshops. So you have a complete business in a box. And as I said, this could easily the content alone could be worth around $10,000. So is this for you? Well, what I'm looking for is for people who want to take their business to the next level. I'm looking for people who are motivated, who are willing to work, because yes, I've done all the hard work for you, but there's still some work to be done. I'm giving you everything I can to help you succeed, but there will still be some work to do. You will have to contact the companies yourself. You have to learn the system, and you have to work it. So the question is, would you prefer to work 2 to 3 days per month to earn the equivalent of maybe 20 one-on-ones, depending on what you're charging? If you're motivated, want to work less and earn more, you have come to the right place. I would love to work with you. The workshop that I'm doing is by application only. You'll see there's an offer on your screen on the right-hand side of it's just popped up. There are limited spots. These workshops I limit to a maximum of 20 people. I do not want any more than 20. And the reason for this, I want to ensure that everybody on the course feels 150% comfortable when they leave with all the material that I go through, that they feel all their questions have been answered and they're ready to hit the ground running the day after the presentation, to really get out there and start doing what they need to do to take their business to a different level. So your investment. So for the 3-day workshop, the next one coming up is in Belfast. I'm actually flying home on Friday, which I'm very excited about. And I get to go to Belfast, and the 3-day workshop's on the weekend of the 28th of August. Now, for 3,000 Australian dollars, you will get to come on this workshop, and you'll basically get a business in a box. You'll get everything you need to basically start doing the system. And the good news is you can make your money back in 1 day's corporate work. So if you charge $4,000, you've more than made your money back. So, oh, hold on. So as I mentioned, the upcoming dates in Europe, I'm just doing one training in Europe so far, which will be in Belfast. It's in the Europa Hotel on the 28th to the 30th of August. For those of you who know Deirdre Maguire, Fastery of Team Master, she's kind of hosting, or she's the one who's really, really wanted this training to come to Belfast, and she's attending it herself because she wants to take her business to a different level. And this is really just going to help her do that. So what to do now? Well, if you are interested and you want to take your business to the next level, just click on the link and apply now. We have limited seats remaining for Belfast. We have quite a few people coming already. As I said, it is at the Europa Hotel, and we'll be there for the 3 days. If you have any questions, I'm going to now go through some of the questions that some of the questions that came through when people applied to come on the webinar. So what research-based info do you offer corporate clients regarding how and why EFT works? So what's interesting is I have sent through some links to research, but not every corporate company has asked. The majority of them haven't asked. I'm just highlighting that what I can do for them is increase their productivity of their employees. I can reduce their absenteeism, and I can also help improve the overall company culture. That can get me in the door. That can get me a meeting. That can get me tapping on some of their senior people to show them what I can do. So also, some of you are asking about IP, intellectual property. IP is intellectual property. That's what that stands for. The next Europe workshop after Belfast, at this stage, I don't have one locked in. I literally have Belfast, and then I'm doing the US and Canada in September. There may be one, but at this stage, we don't seem to have any more in 2015. So it looks like it'll be 2016 that we'll have the next one. Other questions that I got asked. How do you network your way into a new organization and structure something that they will buy? So as I said, it's been through trial and error. I've tried a lot of different things, and now I've managed to organize a couple of different ways that you can use to get yourself into the organization. And once you've secured the meeting, you can then basically, what I do is I tailor a workshop for them. That's what I tell them I do, and I tweak the workshop in relation to what they're telling me, and I tell you how to do that on the workshop. How do you convince a corporate of the gains of using EFT? What kind of service do you offer them? I think I might have answered that. So I offer a one-day workshop. I also offer one-on-one corporate health and wellness sessions, I call them. So basically tapping sessions with whoever they choose to decide that to be. The gains of using EFT is I'm going to help improve their productivity, the employee productivity, decrease their absenteeism, and help improve the overall culture of the company. How to attract students to my courses, and also how to generate a constant stream of paying clients. So for me, in relation to this question, the courses that I'm running at the moment are the corporate courses, and then I'm doing this how to tap into corporates for practitioners. To generate a constant stream of clients, the way I'm structuring my business is I'm trying to have just one or two corporate clients on a retainer, which is that they're on a monthly cycle of I go in and visit them once a month. That way I know I have a constant stream of consistent income. And then each month will vary depending on if I get another corporate client that just wants a one-off workshop, or my one-on-ones that I do myself. What level and how much experience do you recommend someone attending your course? Does it matter? For me, I've had people who have done, on Brisbane and Melbourne, we had level 2 was the lowest, level 2 EFT or faster EFT. I am open to level 1s. To me, it's not really about the level, it's about your level of comfort with using the tools. And because what you'll be doing is a corporate workshop, yes, there's some tapping on the workshop. It's more when you're doing the one-on-ones that you'll be getting more into the nitty-gritty. But it's not, for me, again, it's not about the level, it's about how comfortable you are with the tool. And getting on the 3-day workshop, I just basically work with you on your confidence levels, and you'll also get an opportunity to use your tapping on the course to remove any blocks that you have for you becoming a corporate health and wellness trainer. Dora, do I need to have a coaching certificate to tap into the corporate world, or is Faster EFT diploma enough to sell me into corporates? I did not, and I do not have a coaching or a training certificate. So I went in there as an EFT, Faster EFT, Matrix 3 imprinter. However, I did not use that languaging because that wouldn't work with corporates. No, you don't need an additional certificate. And by coming on my workshop for the 3 days, I'll teach you exactly what you need to say to get that meeting, to get in the door, to secure your corporate clients. Let me see, I'm just checking that I'm answering everybody's questions as I scan down the list. 1 second. I think that is most people's questions. If you have any questions that I haven't answered, please, please just type them into the chat box. Sally Ann's just asked a question. On the one-on-one corporate sessions, do you focus on issues affecting them at work, or is the brief able to go outside this? Well, Sally Ann, as you probably would know, as we all know, what people bring to work is usually their personal stuff anyway. So while I might start the session, usually most companies are comfortable with me addressing whatever the person needs to address, because whatever is on their mind, if I can alleviate that for them and make them less stressed about it, they will be more present in the workplace, and more productive. So my sessions will be, I'll start the session out with what people have asked, what's on people's minds, and what they're struggling with. And I'll ask also, is there anything specific they're struggling with from a work perspective? 9 out of 10 times, it's probably 9 out of 10 times there is a personal issue that's triggering the work issue, or 9 out of 10 times they just have a personal issue that's just affecting them in the workplace. So I explain that to companies when I go to talk to them, but ultimately companies are fine as long as their employees are feeling a lot happier and more present and more productive in the workplace. I hope that answered the question, Sally-Ann. Does anyone else have any other questions? If you would like to come to Belfast, please apply now. A lot of people think $3,000, it's a lot of money, and I understand that. But when you think about it, as I said, for one corporate client, you can get your money back for 1 day's work. And you will have access to all these resources. And then you will also join this network of people that who are also going to be doing the How to Tap into Corporates training, or who have already done it. So you can share, what's working for you, or if you need a team of practitioners in a particular area or around the world, you will have access to this group so that we can all work together, which I think is going to be fantastic. And I'm very, very excited about. So questions. So if anybody has any questions, any remaining questions, I feel like I've answered everybody's. I'm just doing one last scan. It looks like I've got everybody's questions answered. So just a reminder, to apply, just click on the Apply Now button. It's not limited by the level you are. I do recommend that you are familiar with doing sessions with clients. That's important. I have had some people who have not had a private practice as yet, and they've come on the How to Tap into Corporates workshop because they've decided that that's what they want to do. They want to go straight into doing corporate work and look at doing a private one-on-one work, doing less of that, I suppose. Is there any practitioner support in your group? Yes, so in the Facebook group that people join once you've been on the course, practitioners will post whatever their questions are on there, and I or other practitioners will be answering them. So I'm in there every day checking to see what people are doing or what people are saying and answering any questions they have. I see that someone's saying if I could give more lead time. Thank you, Sally-Ann. I definitely will. We did put these courses up in May time. It's just been trying to get them out to everybody. So, but I will let you know of any future How to Tap into Corporates in 2016, or if one comes up before then, if we end up doing another one. Is there any practitioner? Is there support after the course? The main support after the course would be through the Facebook group, but you will also have my email address if you need to email me. Do you think this type of offer to corporates is very sensitive to economic recession? I think it could impact potentially the dollar amount you're charging. But I would, again, that would be about testing the marketplace. Most of the people I've been working with don't seem to be affected by that as yet, or if they are, they still have a line item in their profit and loss for training for their employees. So if you, as I said, this is can be an international business for you. So if you're finding that your local area isn't working, there is no reason why you can't use the techniques I teach you in another area. But I believe that if it is impacted by an economic recession, you would just be reducing your price slightly. So you may not be able to charge the $4,000 a day, you may be charging a little bit less, but I haven't heard of anyone experiencing that as yet, and I personally haven't experienced it yet. If you could, okay, so Dora's just saying if I could set up a workshop 3 to 4 months ahead to prepare plane tickets, etc. in Europe anywhere would be awesome. So I will definitely let people know if I am looking at doing another one. I did have some people expressing interest in one in Manchester. I don't know if that would be of interest to people, but that, again, not at this stage. I need to get through these workshops in Ireland and the US and Canada first, and then I can let you know if and when there would be another one. So any final questions before we finish up? Otherwise, I'd just like to thank you so much for your time this morning, and or this evening for you. If you do have any questions, please feel free. You can message me through my website. Otherwise, hopefully I will see you on the course, if not this time, maybe next time. And yes, I'd love to help take your business to a totally different level and give you more of a work-life balance that you're probably hoping for. So thank you again. I really appreciate the call, and I will hopefully see you in Belfast, or if not, somewhere in Europe, maybe in 2016. Thank you very much.